Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my Dorney Park recreation. The last episode we worked on some of our midway stuff over here, putting together the kaleidoscope and wave swinger rides and the coasters drive-in. For today, I'd like to stick in this area a little bit and continue on towards the front entrance of the park, finish up some of the stuff up here. We've got a carousel to build and some buildings over here that need sketched out. There's a whole bunch of maintenance and administrative stuff up here that I need to at least pencil in addition to putting down where the Ferris Wheel is supposed to go. That's one ride that we haven't even mentioned yet. That's kind of up here in this area somewhere. And yeah, it would be nice to get the entrance fully built and start maybe sculpting like where the edges of the park is going to be, where the parking lot is going to be up in here. So just more progress towards the front of the park. So looking forward to doing that. So I think we're just going to start simple near where we already started and build the carousel here up at the front. I have a 6x6 plot penciled in here. One thing, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but with the Cedar Point carousel that I built, I made it 8x8 and that was way too big. I never really liked the way it looked. I thought it looked way too big in the park, so I definitely want to keep it smaller for Dorney. And I do like how the scale of the wave swinger turned out. It's actually 4x4, but with a one tile margin all around it for, you know, the fence and plants and stuff. And I think I want to try to do something similar here for the carousel. See if a 4x4 ride with one tile of just, you know, fencing around it will look pretty good. So let's go ahead and try that and see how it goes. Alrighty, here we have our carousel at the front of the park. I think my strategy to make it a 4x4 ride with just decorations around the outside totally paid off. I like the size of it right now. It doesn't look too big. It looks like it fits the space pretty well, which I think I'm really happy with. Because if you look at the aerial view again, it's about the same size as Wave Swinger on the map, and I think if you compare the size of those two rides here in my park, they look pretty much the same, which is great. Really happy with that. The roof is a little bit plain. It's tough to decorate carousel roofs just because, again, as always, curvy things, hard to do in RCT, especially when they're an even size. If you had like a 3x3 or a 5x5 carousel, then you could do some decorations around the middle tiles, but not really something you can do as easily with the 4x4 or 6x6 version. Might just be a matter of me looking at some more examples of other people's builds and picking out some details I like and seeing if they can apply here. Either way, what we have here, not too bad. It's gotten a little bit crowded over here. Hopefully we are not starting to see peeps getting lost already. I guess it's part of the fact that we have a brand new ride open and everyone's excited to go ride it, but the line doesn't have a huge capacity, which might be an issue. I hope we're not having pathfinding problems yet. I don't want to build any underground path yet. We're probably going to have to at some point. It is a weirdly laid out park in real life, but I guess we'll see as we go forward. Oh yeah, we're seeing a ton of lost guests over here by the Wave Swinger. Probably something to do with the proxy pathing. So maybe I need to start removing some of that for now just to get these peeps freed. They're probably trying to find some other place. Yeah, you can see there's a bunch of tired peeps and now they're all able to get free. Okay, so I have to figure out my proxy pathing. Not a big deal. So yeah, just to mitigate this for now, I'm going to undo all the proxying I did. Things are going to look a little silly for that reason, but that's fine. All right, so I think we're just going to keep sketching the entrance here. Right here, this green block I've laid out is where the main park gates are going to be. They're a little bit shifted back from where they were before. Again, trying to keep things a little bit more compact as much as I can so it looks more normal for RCT. I think trying to make things closer together is going to make them look better, so that's what we're going with here. So yeah, let's build a little entrance, shall we? Alrighty, having a lot of trouble building an entrance today, apparently. As you can see, we're having lots of issues with guests crowding up here at the front of the park. I guess they just can't find their way around. The flower beds and the little gates here are confusing them, apparently. And the fact that there really isn't a direct route to get to any of the rides. We also have almost 3,000 guests now, which is quite a lot for a park this size. Considering how much we have built out, it does make sense that we would have a lot of guests kind of just lost over here on the edge where there's nothing to do. Hopefully by the time we build more midway over here and get Talon down and the water park in, maybe that will help mitigate those problems. Trying to band-aid the crowding issues right now by restricting where guests can walk with the built-in park boundaries. Obviously we're going to hide all of these park fences later, but man, what an ugly solution. I don't know where all these people are even trying to go. A lot of them just say they're walking. They're not heading for anywhere in particular. Maybe I'll have to play around with the path debugging tools here and see if I can figure out any problems. I guess a big part of it is I put down this flower bed right here in the middle, and I think I had this problem with Cedar Point too, where if you put down a flower bed right in the middle of a path, guests are too dumb to walk around it, and that was causing guests in Cedar Point to get very confused about where to go. The carousel definitely isn't helping either. So I think this is going to be one of those cases where we are going to have to build some underground path, at least from up here at the security gate, maybe over to where the swinging ship is. But it's not a big problem right now. Our park rating is still high. People aren't actually lost. They're just stupid. Nothing is actually broken, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Anyway, got some entrance buildings down. Not super happy with them, really. It's tough to do buildings look like this in NCSO, especially when the ticket gate here is, again, an even number of tiles you can't really have. I would love to have this kind of roof on the top, but, you know, you can't do that when it's a 2x2 roof. So anyway, I'm going to keep playing around with it a little bit. Maybe I'll be able to find a better solution here. I've already got a couple ideas. And then I would like to keep penciling in the buildings over here. Like I said, we're missing the Ferris Wheel plot. That's going to be in this area somewhere. And there's a few other buildings surrounding it. So I want to get those at least penciled in. We might build a couple of them too if we got time tonight. And it'll be nice to get these areas, you know, tied together. Like I always say, it's good to get things connected, fleshed out. So it should be fun. All right, making some progress on this area. We have our Ferris wheel now built in. Did a little shoestring version of this. It's been a while since I've built a shoestring Ferris wheel, and making the supports for these is not super easy, especially when you build them with an even length instead of an odd length, so you can't have like tracker texture going down the middle of it correctly like I've seen people do most of the time. So I don't want to make it bigger though, because I feel like it would be too big if I did that. But maybe I should. I don't know. There's, again, tons of room for it. There's nothing behind it. So we could make it bigger if we wanted to. Wouldn't really affect a whole lot. I should probably spend some time looking at some reference Ferris wheels and see how other people decorate theirs, because, like I said, it's been a while. I don't really remember how it's supposed to be done. Getting close to wrapping up this area, though. We just have a couple buildings to do over here. They're kind of big, but there's not a whole lot to them, I don't think. And then just some green space that needs to be filled in with some trees. And the front of the park is going to be pretty close to being done, which is pretty exciting. So I still have some time tonight, so I think I will finish up at least one of these buildings. Maybe we won't get to all of them today, but let's see if we can knock out at least one of these. Alrighty, I think I'm about ready to call it for today. As you can see, we got some nice drafts for our front of the park buildings over here. Again, I'm not super happy with the entrance buildings, so I might poke around with those a little bit later, but all other buildings are looking pretty okay. This one turned out to be just a pavilion, so that was pretty easy to build. Then we have this building here, which turned out to be a theater, and we have a gift shop and I think guest services building over here. This one has a really weird shape to it. Doesn't really work in RCT, so I just kind of built something that looked a little bit like it. Some of it's a little bit blocky, a little bit plain, so I'll probably do some more cleanup in here later. You probably also noticed we are having a lot of problems with guest pathfinding, and it's only gotten worse as we have built more stuff over here. I'm not really sure what it is about the pathing over here that is so problematic for peep pathfinding, but you can see there's some real problematic areas over here. They are really not having a good time trying to get home. So I'll probably have to do some path debugging. Maybe we'll have to bite the bullet and do some underground path at some point. Starting to tank my park rating a little bit. Not that I care that much about the park rating. The lower it is, the less crowded it's going to be, I guess. Either way, pretty happy with how things are coming along. The more of these green spaces we fill in, the more curbs and trees we add, the nicer things are starting to look. Still a couple details left to do. A couple places where I'm missing some curbs and things, but that's going to be for a later cleanup session, I think. Yeah, overall, pretty happy with the front of the park. Pretty productive session today. But that's going to do it for me for today. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.